Paris 2024. I have concerns. If you've been living under a rock, you might not realize that the Olympics are coming to Paris this year, the Summer Olympics in July and August, and it's a mixed bag. I would say that I've been mostly looking forward to it, but a lot of people, most of my friends, I feel like are fairly pessimistic about it, and a lot of my friends are getting out of Dodge. And by Dodge, I mean Paris, and by getting out, I mean getting out. They're leaving as quickly as they possibly can. I have three concerns for you today, three things that I kind of have brought my optimism down just a little bit for the vibe of the Olympics. However, I'm going to preface this by saying I still feel pretty optimistic. I still think it's going to be fun, but I'll let you decide how you feel. Torsion. I don't know. Let's start with what I kind of feel like is the most dystopian of the things that we're going to talk about today, although everything's kind of dystopian when you think about it too much, and that would be the QR codes for security. So they're going to be doing events in a lot of really famous, iconic parts of the city, which I think is going to be really cool. It looks very cool in the renditions that they've put online. Playing volleyball underneath the Eiffel Tower does look pretty iconic. However, what it means is that in any of those areas, they're going to have extremely heightened security. And the way that they're going to enforce that, if you don't live in the area, you won't be allowed in. They're going to have QR codes for people that live there, or ticket holders, or people that have quote unquote legitimate reason to be there. And on the one hand, I kind of understand that for security, but on the other hand, when you see how extensive it's going to be, it's supposed to be across the city, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Now, it's probably going to be not as bad as some people are making it out to be, and it will probably be more annoying than I'm actually imagining it's going to be. Somewhere in the middle there is where I would, guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I will say that if you've ever had any problems with French security of any kind, you know how abrasive and just very rigid they can be, and I don't know, it doesn't make for the most enjoyable of experience in the best of times, but when they basically declare a state of emergency for a time that's supposed to be fun and joyous, you can imagine might end up causing more issues than you would really like to deal with. The second is metro tickets. They're doubling the price of the metro. Not exactly 2x, but to €4 per ticket. €4 per metro ticket during the Olympics. Originally, they were going to do free rides for at least Olympic ticket holders, which is what they did for the Olympics in 2012 in London, which seems like a really great idea. And honestly, I think it'd be even cooler if they just made public transportation free for everyone. Create a party atmosphere, make it fun, free to get around. Everyone's having a grand old time. But no, €4 per, it's highway robbery. Part 3. The cost of everything, I hope not the cost of everything, but it's pretty insane. Housing, hotels, people getting kicked out of their apartments to make room for short-term renters, stuff like that. There are a lot of stories going around. Want to come up here? Okay. I've heard a lot of stories of people already getting their Airbnbs canceled, and I'm sure to get re-rented at a higher price. And some of the price points that are going around are insane by night. It's crazy. And I get it. On the one hand, it's an open market. You got a place to rent it for as much as you can. But I think the main thing is that it's exacerbated the housing. The housing is already an issue in the city. We already have too many empty apartments, too many apartments that are being rented short term. That's a whole nother conversation to be had that gets a little bit political. And on the other side, I think what all of this highlights for me is that it makes Paris feel more inaccessible. Paris already feels fairly inaccessible to a lot of people. It already seems like a city for the rich. It already has a bit of a snobby reputation as a result. Well, not just that, but it has a reputation. And this isn't really helping. My hope was that the city would open up, that it would make for more of an uplifting party atmosphere, that it would be welcoming, that it wouldn't feel as exclusive as so many things in Paris often do end up feeling. And I think that's where my disappointment ultimately lies, is that the city, not only have they failed on their major infrastructure projects to get, the metro lines running the way that they should, the airport supported the way that it should be, not only, is Notre Dame, that this was never going to get completed on time. So that's not really a disappointment for me. That'll open when it opens. But then they're doubling the metro ticket prices. They're using weird police state tactics on the QR code stuff. You just know it's going to kind of crush the vibe. It's not going to be as nice, open, and free as London was. When I was in London, I certainly didn't feel like I was getting pushed around by cops. And I don't know that I trust that it's not going to happen here. Now that I've said all that, I do want to say that I'm holding out hope. I am probably the most optimistic of all my friends. Granted, all my friends are a bunch of pessimists, but I'm probably the most optimistic out of all of them. I still think it's going to be fun. I want to be here. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be going to some of the events. I'll let you know what it's like on the ground, at least, if you can't make it. And if you do make it, hopefully you have a good time. But I guess because I love this city so much, I love the vibe that you can find here. I love the international elements of it. I love the food. I love getting off the beaten path. This city has so much more to offer than I think the average person visiting ever realizes. And so for me, it's kind of a personal mission almost to help people find their way off the beaten path into what I think are the true gems of the city. As someone who lives here, as someone who loves this city, as someone who's more or less lived here for over a decade now, 7 years solid, on and off before that. And so I feel a little bit responsible. You know, I'm in becoming a citizen, in already feeling like a citizen of this city. It kind of hurts me a little bit to think they're making it more exclusive. They're making it more of a pain. They're gonna penalize people for not being rich. When the opening ceremony costs like 2,700 euros just to get a seat, you know, they're like, oh, well, it'll be open. Like, that's not, I don't know, that's not the vibe, right? Take this with a grain of salt because I don't know that I'm showing up offering solutions here. But I feel like it's a step back in what has become a warmer, more welcoming city. I think Parisians by and large have done so much to enhance their reputation. Everyone here is so much more friendly than when I first moved here. English is spoken more broadly. There's an openness and an acceptance of people coming to visit that didn't used to be here in quite the way that it is now. And so to me, I'm worried that it'll be a step back. We don't know if it'll be a step back yet. We will find out. But those are my concerns, and those aren't really great signs, right? Everything more expensive and QR codes to pass the police. Blech. Don't like the feeling of that. I'll let you know how it goes though. Like I said, I'll be here. Anyway, for Cooper and I, this little guy's doing better for those of you that are worried. I'm pretty sure we just got a bad batch of kibble. I put him on a fast yesterday to get that out of his system. We put him on his previous flavor. I don't even think it was the flavor. I think we just got a bad bag. I told the people at the animal store. They didn't seem impressed. They were like, yeah, that happens sometimes. I was like, cool, definitely trusting you guys with dog food from now on. Anyway, he seems to be doing just fine, and I'm doing fine too. I had a really long health screening this morning. Get your health screenings done, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of the city of Paris, I mean, the city paid for me to get one of those screenings done that I think usually actually does cost a little bit of money, completely free. Took a long time. I've got a lot of meetings today. Very, very busy day. So we're enjoying our little coffee down here on the river before I run off to a bunch more stuff. Cheers to you. Thanks for watching. Thanks as well to today's patron producer, Alison, Bud, and all my patrons for making this possible, and for making it possible for me to go to the games. If you haven't picked up on this yet, my channel is very community supported, and if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you so much for watching, so much for occasionally putting up with an ad on YouTube, and for all the support you've shown in all the different ways you have over the years. It really means a lot. Do you have anything you want to say to them, Cooper? Well, that was sweet. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Okay.